May this year, a Pune resident lost money when fraudsters posing as bank representatives contacted him and informed of some reward points upgrade on his credit card. Now, very unsuspectingly, this person gave out his credit card details only to find out minutes later that all of his credit card limit had been swiped out.
So, Sandhya, similarly, in a case where you see a techie lost about 17 lakh rupees, when in fact a lady was posing as a representative again from a bank, informed of a cashback kind of an offer, and the techie gave the details of the bank account. So, sometime later, what has happened is the techie has come to know that a loan of almost rupees 15 lakhs was taken by the fraudsters in the name of the techie itself.
Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? It's not just individuals like us, but even banks, I'm given to understand, are facing such issues. In fact, I remember reading sometime last year, I think in December 24, HSBC Bank had filed a complaint stating that when they were doing their monthly spending, it was a review of their monthly spend analysis. It came to light that almost 55 credit cards were picked up by people from an online portal, out of which 38 cards, they had completely withdrawn their entire limit on the credit card within the first month itself. It is when they dug deeper, they found out that all, forged documents were used and their credit cards were procured and all the money was withdrawn. In fact, the bank had complained stating that they lost almost 1.25 to 1.5 crore rupees.
That's a huge amount.
Yeah.
And adding to that, Sandhya, the incidents today on this are continuing unabated, in fact. And of course, with most of the population today preferring more of the cashless transactions, we have gone digital. And the number of the credit card frauds are like extremely steep and it's rising every year, especially post the pandemic,
Right.
I would say.
Right. Subathra, it is appalling to know the different ways in which such credit card frauds are being carried out, credit cards or debit cards. There have been instances when cards have been physically stolen from the original owner and to make unauthorized purchases. In fact, I say this specifically now because I recollect of a family friend, a senior citizen, who was narrating how she wrote down her password or PIN on the back of her debit card in this case. And the card got stolen. It was physically stolen. And the thief got lucky because not only he got the card, he got the number as well. And most of her savings and salary was wiped out in one or two transactions.
That's very, very unfortunate. In fact, Sandhya, today, if you see, the identity theft is the most common type of credit card frauds, right? So you see fraudsters get the hold of the information like your name, bank details, phone number, etc. And they kind of use this information and apply for a credit card. And then the owner of the details doesn't even know of this. And of course, they will end up getting a sweeping huge statement, which will be, they will be in shock for what they have not spent.
Correct. We need to understand the different ways by which the identity of a person is stolen. That is why it's called identity theft, because confidential, personal, sensitive information of a person is stolen. Okay. Right. Phishing is the most commonly used method. Now, what happens in that? It is a method by which deceptive emails, texts, or calls are sent to the user. In fact, they look so authentic, like communication from the banks, that individuals are tricked into providing personal sensitive information. In fact, Subathra, if you remember, we did an episode way back on cyber crimes last year. Yeah. In that, I mentioned how a relative lost money by responding to an SMS, which he believed came from the bank. When he clicked on the link, it kind of directly sent him into that bank's website. And he entered his banking details unsuspectingly. And in less than 4 minutes, almost a sum of 1.25 lakhs got debited. Now, that is phishing. The SMS that was sent, which was so authentic, is called phishing.
Right. So, and adding to this, there is also a mechanism called as skimming.
Right.
where they kind of place a secret device, usually at they call it as a skimmer.
Yeah.
And this is done in the ATMs or POS machines in petrol bunks and shops, etc. So the personal information kind of gets captured by that secret device when the user kind of enters the details like the PIN, etc. Right? And after this, there is, of course, the most common, which we all know, which is called as the hacking.
Right.
Here, the cyber criminals kind of hack into the servers of the banks or companies, in fact, even social media platforms, to steal more personal information of the users, including the data relating to the cards used,
Correct.
right? So that is a easier way, I would say. And especially from 2020 onwards, if you see, the data of millions of users have been hacked from multiple banks, online home delivery and food delivery apps, airline bookings which we make. And beside the personal details as such, you will have also the credit and debit card informations, the PINs, CVV, etc., which are the most valuable data, and it has been sold, in fact, to the dark web where the cyber criminals have access to it.
Right. Also, fraudsters also contact users physically or through phone, posing as bank representatives or customer service agents, and talk them into giving away information. Now, this ironically is called social engineering.
Yeah, I think we are having more and more new terms
Terms.
adding up in broad
Yeah.
buckets, I would say.
Yes.
Sandhya, after talking so much about the different frauds, I think it is extremely important for us to create the knowledge to our viewers and the public about what are the laws currently available for this credit card frauds, right?
Hmm.
So there is nothing as a specific exclusive legislation which is governing on exclusively on credit card frauds. There are multiple legislations which govern such things on the cyber crimes, identity theft. So, of course, the most important is the Information Technology Act. And of course, now the BNS Act, which is being replaced by the, IPC, and the Consumer Protection Act. And the most recent of all is the last year it got enacted is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act.
Right.
So these are the kind of regulations or acts which are currently available in our country.
Right. So you were mentioning about the key acts. I would like to specifically address each act. Section 66C and 66D of the Information Technology Act specifically punish identity theft with imprisonment of up to 3 years and a fine of rupees 1 lakh for fraudulently using another person's unique identification details and also for cheating. Okay, now obviously credit card fraudulent transactions will come under directly be attracted under this section.
Yeah. And adding to the BNS, the section 318 and 337 relate to the cheating and forgery, also cover the digital theft with punishment. And of course, the imprisonment is from about 2 to 7 years and added with a fine.
Mm.
Now, when we move to the latest enactment, which is the DPDP Act, it has certain rules have come into play by the government, which is the act emphasizes more on the rights of the individuals over their personal data, including their right to access, correct, as well as erase their data, which can be relevant in certain cases of fraudulent transactions, including credit card frauds. So I think more I would say is the individual is given the right or has given the power to control their own data now.
Right. Right, correct. But also, I would like to add, Subhadra, that the Reserve Bank of India (RBI) has been very proactive in dealing with issues from time to time. In fact, the RBI mandates that it's a mandatory requirement by the RBI to all the banks that they must send SMS alerts for all
Right.
electronic banking transactions. In fact, we all receive it, so we will be able to relate
Yes.
to it. This is
Definitely.
basically to enhance customer awareness and security by notifying them of every transaction that has been made from their account. Additionally, customers are also encouraged to register for email alerts in addition to SMS. SMS is mandatory. It is also advised by the RBI to the banks, intern banks to customers to register for email alerts as well. In fact,
Sure.
towards this end, in 2017, the RBI expressly laid down the liability of a user or a customer in the event of fraudulent unauthorized transactions due to third party breaches. Okay,
Right.
again, credit card fraudulent transactions will be attracted directly under these guidelines. Now, what do these guidelines state? These guidelines state that if the users report the fraudulent unauthorized transactions to the bank within a certain time limit, their liabilities will be covered. For example, if they report within 3 days of such unauthorized transaction to the bank, then the customer will have no liability. If they report
Yes.
between 4 and 7 days, then the liability will be limited. And any reporting beyond 7 days, the liability will be as per the bank's board policy, board approved policy. Now, also, the RBI guideline has stated that the burden of proof of proving that a fraudulent transaction was a third party breach will be on the bank. Okay. In
Right.
fact, we'll put the link to the RBI notification here for the benefit of our viewers.
Yeah, I think this is extremely essential for viewers to know and to immediately also communicate if there has been any kind of fraudulent transactions
Right.
in there.
Right.
Now, Sandhya, the users have to be beware of certain things which we want to highlight here. One is the RBI has been very proactive in framing certain guidelines governing the fraudulent or any kind of unauthorized transactions. But for the benefit of the viewers, we will again highlight in certain aspects for them to understand. So, in addition to the SMS alerts, which is mandatory, users are also encouraged to voluntarily kind of sign up for email alerts, which
Right.
most of us get today.
Yes.
This will doubly ensure that the transactions come to the light immediately and any correction measures can be taken.
Right.
And the minute a person comes to know that there has been any kind of unauthorized or fraudulent transaction, including your credit card transactions, users are suggested to immediately kind of freeze their accounts,
Right.
uh, call or mail the bank and register a complaint immediately. I would say you should call and email. Both we need to do today.
Yes.
Thereafter, you also register a complaint on the National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal.
Okay. Additionally, it is also advised to register a complaint at the nearest police station. Right. And also, I'd like to add here all users, especially senior citizens, they are advised to not physically write down their CVV or PIN number on the back of the card or somewhere where it is easily accessible to a third party. Okay.
Right.
Also, to protect oneself from ATM skimming, it is suggested to cover the keypad when you are entering your PIN or CVV numbers in the ATM or POS machine. Above all, one must monitor one's bank accounts regularly. If you can't go to the bank, get the bank statements and have a look at it regularly. Have strong passwords to ensure that your banking ecosystem is not hacked into.
True. Thank you, Sandhya, for also sharing those. And I hope our viewers have found this episode informative. So, once again, thank you for watching and see you all next time. Bye bye.
Bye.